Hey YouTube, so my $1 bill type collection is almost complete. You're looking at 1862. This is the first year the U.S. ever issued a legal tender note. And the next series began in 1869, and it was known as the Rainbow Note, and you can see why because of the various colors throughout the paper. These first two series, there's no mention of gold or silver on them. They are legal tender, and pretty much like the bills of today. It's fiat currency. It certainly didn't guarantee you any silver or gold. It just said, hey, these are legal tender backed by the U.S. After 1869, they changed the series again in 1875. And here you're looking at, you can see the 1869, the 1875, and the 1880, all three very similar series, but they certainly made changes on the treasury stamp. You can see how this one has two red seals around it. The next one, there's one of the seals is gone. They changed the design on the seal. So they used a very similar bill, and then again, in 1917, they used this bill again, but they just made slight changes to it to help ensure counterfeiting was at a minimum. And the backs always, the sawhorse large bills, gorgeous backs on these, known as the sawhorse. And then after the 1880, they changed it again in 1886. This is the Martha Notes, has Martha Washington on it. And again, a beautiful note. And I made a previous video and said that Martha beat George to it. Oops, I was wrong. And then in 1896, they made the educational series. A lot of people say this is the most beautiful note ever put out by the U.S. And again, the reverses on these, beautifully done, these large notes. Because they are large, you can see all the details really well in these. And there's George and Martha together on the back of the 1896 on the educational $1 note. So I really like those. And then we continue forward in 1899. Here, this is a silver certificate known as the Black Eagle. Again, a large bill in a beautiful note. But shortly thereafter, 1917, they came up with a legal tender. So we went from a silver certificate. Now this is just a legal tender. Again, no mention of gold or silver on it. You can see the backs or reverses of these things. Once again, I don't know about you, but I'm always really impressed by, the artwork. And here they use the sawhorse design again. So they reuse some of the designs with some minor changes with series after series, again, trying to make sure they're fighting counterfeiting efforts. Then in 1918, that's when the Federal Reserve banking system went in to action. 1918, the Federal Reserve, all 12 Federal Reserve banks made a note. This one was from New York. In 1928, they came out with another silver certificate, and once again, it's a large note. You can see on the back of these Federal Reserve notes the Screaming Eagle design, a real beautiful note. And then on the back, the silver certificate, again, it's a large note, and the backs of these things are very attractive. And then that's the last of the large notes in 1928. Started making the size we're all familiar with now. This one is a legal tender note. That's why it's red. This empty space right there, that's missing the 1928 silver certificate. And so I'm still on the hunt for that bill. This one had the funny back, so it's had a unique back on it, even though it's a small bill, but it's the only one to have this design, and it's known as the funny back. Then from there in 1935, they changed the series again. This is the Hawaii note. I've talked about it. We were worried in World War II that the Japanese might overtake Hawaii, so those were all marked so they could be demonetized. This one was made for North Africa and Europe with a yellow seal in 1935 series. Again, in case the Germans got hold of our monies or the Japanese, we could demonetize it. It was easily identifiable. So those are pretty interesting notes. And then in 1957, changed it up again. In 1957, another silver certificate was made. It looks very similar to what most of us are familiar with, except for the fact, it has a blue serial number and a blue treasury mark, and that's indicative of a silver certificate. And so, man, our bills have gone, our notes have gone back and forth. We've had gold certificates, silver certificates, we've had Federal Reserve notes, legal tender notes. It's gone back and forth as the country needed more money available, especially during war times. The printers go into action. So it's nothing real new, what we're experiencing. The government's been doing it forever. The only difference is they used to do it on beautiful paper, and now not so much. So that's where I'm at. I'm looking forward to getting this collection finished up. I need a couple more bills, and I will be done. So hope you enjoy. You all have a good one, YouTube. Bye. Oh, well, I guess it's not goodbye. As I'm making this video, guess what came in the mail? Yeah, my 1928 silver certificate. It arrived. So, all right, one more notch filled in my booklet. And so now I've got the 1928 silver certificate and the legal tender note. Both of them have funny backs. Pretty cool. So, all right, I'm one step closer than I thought. So I really just need one or two more bills, and I'm going to have this typeset completed. Y'all have a good one, YouTube. Bye.